Hello guys, and welcome back for a new review. Today we're going to take a look at Gil Jones. That's Major Gil Jones of the year 2150. This is probably one of my favorite knockoff G.I. Joes of the early 90s. So this guy came out in 93, and you can kind of get the idea of what they were going with Gil Jones or G.I. Joe. I guess it's as similar as they could think of to match up with G.I. Joe. Of course, this is in the height of the Hall of Fame era of G.I. Joe, so the body that this figure comes with kind of reflects that in the construction. But it's a very unique figure. There was two figures in the line. There was a couple of variants, but essentially you got Gil Jones, who is the defender of all, and then you've got X-Bones, the enemy of all. I did a review on X-Bones. You could take a look. It's about 4 years back, but now it's finally time to take a look at Gil Jones. So here he is in the package. You could get a look at some of the gear. He's got the snap-on accessories. We'll go over that. Made by Totsy. And it's got pretty cool little artwork on the back. Again, showing you the snap-on armor. So let's go ahead and crack them open and get a better look at Gil Jones. Alright, so here is a look at Gil Jones out of package. This is a really cool figure. So let's take a close look at the head sculpt here. I think it's a really good one, especially for 93. He's got that cleft chin, light brown hair, blue eyes. You'll notice they kind of gave him a bit of rosy cheeks too, which is, well, I don't know, it's different. A lot of good paint apps. His lips and everything is painted too. Pretty good sculpt on the hair. He's dusty from being in the package for so long. He actually looks like he might be growing some mold or something on him as well. But very good head sculpt on the figure. Looks good to me. And then the sculpt of the actual figure, I think, is really good, especially for the time. You've got a really cool musculature to the figure, so he's very beefy. We'll do a comparison to him against your standard G.I. Joes of the time. But as you can see, he's got the snap-on armor, just clip-on, and he has the same thing on the legs, which would clip on and off. And if you take all of this off, you'll see that the basic buck body that is used, if it was sculpted in like a flesh tone, you could certainly just dress it. You could still dress it, of course, as well. But there's actually, looks like it was sculpted to be that way. But then they just molded it in these colors to, I guess, kind of cheap out or go with that snap-on armor effect, which was unique at the time, but very well sculpted. And then he also has a rubberized black boots, pretty flexible still. Got like a modern look to them. It's very unique. So, very cool. Okay, so for accessories, of course, you've got the chest armor here. Looks like it's got like a little recording device there. That's kind of what it looks like anyway. The wrist device, not quite sure what that does. This armor has the clip-on knife. So that just clips right on there. Which is kind of neat. Weapon storage. I'm not sure. This is, I guess, armor or perhaps enhancements for his abilities. And the other accessories included is the helmet. On the X-Bones review, I did open that up, but I do plan to put this guy right back in the package and just put him in the collection. So I'm not going to rip this open, but it's a helmet with a glass visor, a very bulky machine gun of some sort, and he comes with a sticker pack. Okay, so let's go over Articulation again for 93. This was kind of par for the course, but it was better than most of the knockoffs at the time, which, to my recollection, included the Rapid Deployment Force, which only had about 5 points of articulation. This was closer to the G.I. Joe Hall of Fame style articulation with some differences. So, the head simply rotated left and right. The arms could fully rotate, and they were kind of rubberized. They can go out as well. Though I remember back in the day when you move these out, the paint would kind of wear off on the shirt. He does have elbow articulation, much like the Hall of Fame Joes, so it was got a few clicks. Nothing in the wrist, of course, but it was very flexible rubber, still is. So you could easily grip the weapons, which is very similar to the way the Hall of Fame figures were. He does have waist articulation, side to side. The hips, he could go forward only a little bit. He can't go back at all. He can go out a bit. And then he has the same skeletal structure underneath for the knees. So you can get a few clicks with that for articulation. So not impressive, but certainly better than knockoffs of the time and pretty close to the Hall of Fame. Okay, so here is Gil Jones next to his famous enemy, the X-Bones. They are identical figures with just different paint jobs. So I'll just show you very different paint jobs, of course. But you'll notice the head sculpt is exactly the same, just painted completely different. So that paint job is so significant. I think it works really well. They do look like two completely different characters, which of course that's what the intent is. And I've also got Grunt here from the same era. This is just an idea of the size comparison compared to Gil Jones with a classic Hall of Fame figure. And you can see the size. He's quite big. He's very large. He's bigger than your standard Hall of Fame figures, which were pretty big for themselves. Not necessarily height-wise, but very muscular. And this guy definitely dwarfs him quite a bit. So that is pretty cool. So, all in all, that's Gil Jones, a knockoff figure from 1993-94 to go along with your 12-inch G.I. Joes, or just use them as a standalone figure. I call him a knockoff because he kind of seems like one, but there is a little bit of a deeper line for Gil Jones. They had blow-molded bodies. They were a lot cheaper quality than this guy. So I'm not sure if it's big anywhere else around the world, but here in the US, it was kind of a flash in the pan in the early 90s. One that I was glad that I came across. I was happy with it when it came out. I seen them on the shelf. I picked them up. I thought they were pretty cool. And I know there's a lot of people who never seen this figure before. As far as trying to pick one of these up on the aftermarket, eBay is your friend. You can be patient. I got this guy for $10 and then $7 shipping. But I've seen them go over $100, so prices are all over the place. You just got to check regularly, and you can usually find a pretty good deal on one of these. I don't recommend spending a ton of money on them because it's simply not really worth a ton of money. But it is a cool figure to add to your collection. Hope you enjoyed taking a look at Major Gil Jones. As always, thanks for watching, and until next time.